Hello. Today when I Today what I want to talk to you about is that so hard to say? Today what I want to talk to you about is I had a conversation with a wonderful gentleman that invited me to, well, I should say that is considering having me speak at a conference in Europe. And I was talking about some heuristics about go-to-market leaders, and he pulled up a legal pad or one of those flip charts. And one of the things that he showed me was this chart, and we're going to make it for you. That basically there were two sections of this chart. And let's change the color because this is gross. Yeah, it's like almost my brand color. Let's just duplicate this. All right. And these were like types of people. Whoa. If that could be any smaller, it would be. Hackers. Builder. Whoa, don't want that. Builders. Like cutting edge. And I'll talk about this in a second. Yeah, maybe I should make these a little bigger, huh? Don't you want? I'm like outside of the frame. All right, let's make these a little bigger. Yeah, this is good. All right. So, and he was saying in the early days he had a lot of these let's just start here. And then actually let's define the second bucket, which are senior leaders. Strategy. And then wisdom. These are kind of the two categories of people. And he said, usually, when I started, we were in bucket 1, and now we're in bucket 2. Whoa. There was an alarm. And now we're in bucket 2. And so I said, oh, you're describing, I should lock that. The emperor has no clothes. Lock. You're describing the young and the old. And the kind of interesting thing about that particular descriptor is that these folks are so important to pushing the edge. But the young are often reckless, they're arrogant, they they think they know better, and some of them do. And they are non-conventional. They do really silly things. Now, these senior leaders, they have seen it all, right? They were here once, and they understand that there's a lot of stuff that these people do that are just for fun. It has no business impact. They don't understand the implications of the system. They don't. These people just want to make. These people are like, hey, don't build this thing. And here's how I manage a team. And here's how we do this thing at scale. And this is orchestration, and this is execution. Now, there's a big, big problem. There's a gigantic problem. And that is our good friend, our very good friend, AI. So, what color should I make AI? How about white? So the problem with AI is that it has two challenges, which is one, it don't know bullshit. Okay, so AI kind of messes with both of these groups. This group can't recognize AI bullshit. So they'll talk to AI and be like, AI's like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And they'll be like, that sounds reasonable. The other challenge here is that don't know systems. So these folks don't really have a good understanding. They don't have sort of system thinking about how this fits into the whole of the whole go-to-market motion, et cetera. They're and I don't mean technical systems. They're actually excellent with technical systems. I mean business systems. And so just because something should be done doesn't mean that the business has either the appetite or the ability to consume it. So these folks don't really know systems. And they also, the problem is that no translation layer, which is actually, this is kind of a problem. This is a net problem here, which I'm going to come back to. I kind of gave away the plot, didn't I? All right, so there's a translation layer here problem. So let's actually talk about these folks. These are the old, and let's talk about their challenges. And by the way, these are the kind of good things, but specifically AI, these are these challenges, which is like, don't know AI. And this is like buy their way to insights. These folks can purchase their way to insights, which is like, hey, let's just try a bunch of AI stuff. Like, let's just hire these like young AI people, and like we're gonna waste a bunch of money. But as Jeff Bezos says, which he said in a recently great talk at the DealBook Summit, he's like, AI is a horizontal layer. So these folks don't know AI, and the worst thing is they don't know how their knowledge has, they don't know which knowledge is now 1,000x inefficient / wrong. They have another problem, which is don't know the art of the possible. So these folks are in a worse state. Now, usually when we don't have sea changes, these folks are in a better state than the young folks because they have built systems, et cetera, and they can go exploit, right? This is the kind of explore, and this is the exploit. These are the folks that can take the good ideas here and then figure out how they're digested in the organization. Now, there's a huge problem, though, that both groups are sort of struggling with without maybe even knowing it. These folks, because they don't have the wisdom or the strategy, there's no translation layer. There's no layer for these folks to say for the hack. Let's actually like label these. What should we call them? I don't like young and old because it's not really young and old. Although I think that there are a couple people that are wise beyond their years here. So let's call this the wise and the workers. This is like not really a fair comparison either, but the wise and the workers. So the problem is that the workers understand and they're really, really on the edge, but they don't know how to incorporate the bits of the wise into their work because they're generally distrustful of the wise. They're like, you know what you're talking about, like you did things the old way. They tend to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they also are not often as curious. There's no translation there. The wise don't even know the right questions to ask. They're in kind of a really bad state here. So they need some way to be able to understand the art of the possible, and then they need a translation layer to translate the art of the possible, which is what the workers are doing, to the art of the process, which is how does my organization adopt this? What are the ways in which we can test it? How do I take a brand new paradigm? And also the really, really key thing that the wise have is what is the process to replace the way I do it? So they know how to ingest information and how to think about it. And the problem is that process needs to be totally rethought. So they have all of these beautiful building blocks to be able to rearrange things. But the problem is they don't understand the train. They don't understand just how these AI tools can be used, what's possible. And so my goal, and I'm going to be trying to build a media brand around this, is to connect these two worlds, is to connect the workers and the whys. And because to do so is to say to the whys, look, without your insights, we can't build anything. But you have to get rid of the previous way in which you built those insights. So I need the raw materials that exist in your head, but you have to be able to break those down into raw materials, and don't hold on to the way that you did things. Step one. And then I have to go to the workers and say, you love the complexity of this stuff, and I get it. You love how much you can just throw AI at stuff. I see this all the time in AI products. I look at AI products and they're like, look at all these, like someone sent me a Loom the other day. This is a good hack. If you want me to look at a new product, send me a 1-minute Loom, just like YC Ask. Send me a 1-minute Loom and I usually will look at it if your pitch isn't awful. So these folks have complicated. AI has made it more complex, and the complexity. It does need to get complex, but the problem is that you have to then go back and simplify it and let AI do all of the work in the back end. And so really the whys need to have the translation layer of the workers, and they need to be able to have it translated for them in things that they know and in ways that they know. And the workers also need a translation layer to extract the important elements of the whys to help them focus. They are wasting their life's energy right now. I mean, as the workers, the workers usually do, because they figure it out by sheer force of will, by sheer effort. But they need some guidance from the whys. So the whys have to become vulnerable and say, ooh, I understand now that the things that I have learned in the past are mostly irrelevant. But my job here is to figure out which pieces are irrelevant and to be able to harness the workers to rebuild my knowledge, to rebuild the way in which I generate my knowledge. So, and I sit here. I don't have all the stuff that these people have, and I don't have all the stuff that these people have. I am actually not like a crazy early adopter. I'm like an early majority. But I understand enough about both buckets to be that translation layer, to go and have a conversation with the workers, the hackers of the world, and say, how do you do that? What are the things that you... And I would like to think of myself as that, but I know some real serious, amazingly good people that are like really trying the very, very, very bleeding edge. My friend Zach, who does design at Gamma, is this way. He is always on the bleeding edge because he has to integrate AI products into Gamma. So he's sending me stuff, and I'm trying it out. And then the whys. I have a decent amount of these folks in my network, and they are the really good ones are doing a good job at trying to learn here, and I'm working with one of them right now to be able to talk more about this. But if you're on the wise side, wise up and let go of your wisdom and come in with beginner's mind, but don't let go of what helped build your wisdom. That is worth its weight in gold. And the workers of the world, let go of what you think you know, seek out the whys, and have them help you craft what you can do. Have a beautiful Wednesday. To the whys and to the workers, I love you.